Violence and chaos continued in Egypt for the fourth consecutive day, with hundreds of more injuries in the city of Port Said. Unknown assailants have fired at a funeral procession for the victims of Saturday's violence.
We are following the conditions of all those injured. We condemn the violence committed against these peaceful protesters. We hold the president responsible for all that happened.
Live ammunition as well as tear gas were fired at the funeral procession. Tens of thousands of people, including families and residents of Port Said, attended the procession for 32 people killed the day before. The violence engulfed the city following the sentencing of 21 defendants to death in the case of last year's incident that had left 72 football fans dead. Authorities have now deployed the army to safeguard government buildings and help police bring calm in both Port Said and Suez. 9 protesters were killed in Suez in the events related to the second anniversary of the Egyptian Revolution. Meanwhile, in the Cairo's Tahrir Square, small groups of protesters continued to clash with security forces. This, while the Shura Council, or the Upper Parliamentary House, was convened to discuss the current crisis. Security forces fired tear gas and warning shots in an attempt to disperse angry protesters. General public and opposition have criticized President Mohamed Morsi and the government for the lack of direction. They call for the national dialogue and want Morsi to step down for his failure to resolve the crisis.
We are calling bluntly on President Morsi to step down because he is the problem, not the solution. We also call for the trial of the Ministry of Interior for all the crimes committed against protesters.
After days of deadly violence, Egypt's National Defense Council, which is headed by President Morsi, has now declared a state of emergency in 3 riot-hit towns. In a televised speech, Morsi has warned that if necessary, he would take stronger measures to confront threats to the country's security. He also promised that those who have attacked people and used weapons against them will be punished. Clashes continue in Egypt for the 4th day in a row, with analysts believing the current crisis is pitting the Egyptian public against the government of President Morsi. They say this situation could leave its mark on the political scene, with signs of mistrust begin to emerge between the people and the government. Karim Gamaluddin, Press TV, Cairo.